So yeah, me and Nia just saw the King of Thorns movie. Oh, my bad. I mean the King of Thorn movie. Sorry, that just drives me insane to have to say King of Thorn instead of King of Thorns. It's not like there's only one thorn in this movie, because I mean, if there was just one thorn, it wouldn't even be a problem. It's like, oh, here's Strife, watch out for that thorn. Oh, okay, well, I'll just go over here. And that would be it. That's the end of the movie, basically.
The title's name in Japan is Ibara no O, and it was originally illustrated and written by Yuji Iwahara. By the way, this is the movie adaptation we will be reviewing, not the manga. Didn't want you guys to get halfway through the video and be like, hey, that didn't happen, or hey, that's not the same. You know, because the manga and the anime are not the same at all. Oh god.
Yeah.
Why would they take
so
out and change
you can
so
probably
much from
tell
the original?
Nia has actually read the manga.
Like, does Zeus ring a bell?
Well, let's get into this review. So when watching the movie, I originally had no expectations because I basically had no idea what I was even watching. I just remember walking into the room, saw Nia sitting there watching anime on her laptop, and I was just like, oh, anime! And I just sat down and started watching it. That's what happened. Based on a true story.
I, on the other hand, was very excited to finally watch the King of Thorn movie. I first found out about the manga when I was in high school. It was the best manga I had ever read. Even now, it's still like the best thing ever. The plot, the monsters, the characters. So my expectations were really high. Like finally, these characters I've been reading about all this time are finally, in a way, coming to life.
The plot is that they're being terrorized by this worldwide outbreak of this mysterious virus named Medusa that has a 100, and I'm not kidding here, 100 freaking % death rate. And it causes their victims to turn into stone and yeah, they die.
As a last hope effort to save humanity, an organization called Venus Gate comes up with a plan to allow 160 lucky people from around the world to become test subjects for their treatment program called
Sleeping Beauty.
And boom, that was like what, 7 minutes? Yeah, that was actually a 7-minute long info dump. We then meet some characters that I'm assuming are gonna be important, seeing as how they all have their lines and scenes. This is Kasumi and her twin sister Shizuku. In case it's hard for you to tell, Kasumi has glasses and Shizuku does not. Trust me, it's gonna be really important that you can tell these two apart later on in the story. Eventually, Kasumi and Shizuku make it inside the Venus Gate facility, and then this happens.
左手を出してください。して外さないように。オリエンテーションは30分後に礼拝堂で行われます。
こちらです。ご案内します。
雫、大丈夫。私見学してるから。
Wait, you guys don't have any other spots open at all? I knew at the beginning they state that only 160 people are able to enter. So you're telling me all 160 people made it here? I remember that in a news broadcast it states that it takes 30 to 60 days for you to get Medusa, but then after that you only have 12 hours left to live. So I just find it weird that everyone made it. No one died from Medusa, or maybe missed the bus, or even died from Medusa on the bus itself.
Well, maybe they did their calculation and figured out who would survive the trip there.
Yeah, I would totally believe that if this didn't happen.
第2段階へ移行した場合、この部分に黒い斑点が。ドクター、至急礼拝堂まで。
She just died. This random woman just died during the orientation. That's a free spot right there. Kasumi, go get Shizuku!
After that, we get an emotional scene and some background info about Kasumi and Shizuku's life, and how it's been affected by the Medusa virus.
We also see how Kasumi is reluctantly dealing with the guilt of having to leave Shizuku behind, and for her to possibly deal with her own death alone. At this point with me watching the movie, it's done a damn good job getting me attached to Kasumi. I genuinely feel sad for her and I really want things to work out for her, but well, I guess that's not gonna happen.
Okay, now so everyone is waking up and they have no idea what's going on. Then they get attacked by ball-sack birds? You wanna know something pretty funny? In the manga, there was a boob eagle. So yeah.
And then everyone dies. Not from the ball-sack birds. They all simultaneously fall into an elevator and get eaten by some kind of plant-looking creature. They just keep running and running into the elevator. Don't you guys hear the screams of shock and horror and death in there? Don't you hear it?
And then there were 7.
So while Marco's over here being a shirtless dick, he happens to say something of great importance.
委員長はこれだから。
俺は警官だ。
世界が滅びるまではな。この状況を見ろよ。どう考えたってちょっとやそっとの時間じゃこうなるわけねえだろ。
そうですね。
After that, Catherine says this.
あなたバスで一緒だった双子ね。
And then these guys do this. And Nia face palms.
リはどうしたの？
雫は付き添いで来ていただけです。だから
ああ、うっとうしいぜ。
Yeah, it kinda was. At this point, I had no idea what was following them.
And when it got revealed, I had no idea either because it looked totally different in the manga.
Oh no, what? The fat guy died. Wait, what was his name? What? Alejandro Pacino? I don't know. He was a senator.
While running away, the kid tells them how the monster can't hear them.
なんで知ってる？
レベル5デモンザウルス。
またゲームか。本当か？
僕のデータに間違いなし。
What? Oh jeez, Marco, what's wrong with you? You can't just throw that kid in there. Oh, there goes Catherine. Turns out this was his master escape plan. Oh shit. Jeez, poor Kasumi, he just grabbed her by her head and carelessly threw her in there.
They all emerge from the water but realize Kasumi didn't make it. So they go back and save her, then this happens.
黙れ。
何イライラしてんだよ。走れ！
Okay, I'll say this now, but I'm not really a fan of 3D animation in anime. If you want the monsters to be in 3D, okay. But me and Nia aren't into the whole scenes being converted into 3D animation. A few minutes later, Peter Stevens dies. Okay.
Oh look, more 3D animation.
The group later finds out that it's only been 48 hours since they entered the capsules. So, what happened? They eventually find themselves in what? A wine cellar?
And that's where Marco drops the bomb.
俺はイギリス陸軍 SAS 所属マルコ・オーエン少尉だ。資格者に偽装して CSCC に潜入。奴の手引きで情報の確保と外部からの破壊活動をサポートするはずだった。
Turns out he's actually a British SAS member on a spy mission to gather info on Venus Gate. Then they happen to run into Coral Vega, the founder of Venus Gate, who almost gets shot by Marco.
ミスター・ベガ。撃たないでくれ。マルコだ。
They then leave the cellar to reach safety from the overflowing water.
Vega then tells the group about a mysterious girl named Alice that had the power to create monsters of her own free will using only her imagination. Vega and his team, through experiments, find out that by creating monsters, Alice was able to survive Medusa.
Vega takes the group to Alice's grave and explains how it's all his fault that she died. He attempts to kill himself, but he hesitates because Kasumi shoots in the air, I guess, giving Marco enough time to stop him.
I originally thought she did the cliche thing and shot the gun out of his hand, but that couldn't have been possible. I mean, look at that thing. That's a freaking shotgun. That would have blown Vega's hand off and probably killed him. Yeah. Okay, so basically, the building is collapsing. Alex controls Tim and makes Tim run away, and everybody starts to chase after Tim, and they all just leave Vega to die anyway. They end up running into some trouble, but Marco stays back to fight it, and he ends up getting saved by Ron, and Ron dies like a man.
Alex leads the group to safety and end up using the water to escape. And later, Kasumi stumbles upon this camera that shows her something bad has happened to Shizuku. She then runs back inside in hopes of finding her sister.
And thus comes the part that basically confused everyone watching. I know it confused me. I had no idea what the heck was going on. But we now know that this right here, this thing right here, that's Shizuku. And this lifeless body over here just lying there, that's Kasumi's real actual body. We get a hint of that being her actual body because you see the scar that Kasumi has on her wrist. So with the Kasumi that we've been seeing, she then unravels the bandages that she has on her wrist. And oh shit, she doesn't have any scar. Oh my god, what does that mean? In one of the final scenes of the movie, we see Kasumi just couldn't live with herself knowing that she's gonna go into this treatment center and leave Shizuku to die to Medusa. So her plan was, let's just both commit suicide. And so she ends up getting in this scuffle with Shizuku, and Shizuku, I guess in the scuffle of everything, they both end up falling off, but Kasumi actually dies. And after that, that intense emotion that she feels, that dread that she feels from knowing that her twin sister is dead, causes her Medusa virus to manifest into some kind of weird creature, and thus sets forth all the events happening in the movie. So skipping a little further ahead, Kasumi and Marco end up escaping the facility. And then they're sitting outside the facility and then Marco dies. Okay, I guess it's just because he shot that chip thing out of his neck.
Sayonara, Laura.
Okay. And then Kasumi then gets reunited with Tim, and then they basically just walk off. And then that's the end of the movie. I'm serious this time. That's it. That's how it ends. They just walk away.
So averaging out the pros and the cons in this movie, we decided to rate the King of Thorn movie a 7 out of 10. And if you like this movie, you should definitely read the manga series.
You may be wondering why we didn't rate it an 8 out of 10, which is probably what it deserves. But for me and Nia, we really judge heavily based off the ending. And the ending in this movie, it just didn't seem good enough. With the coming of the ending of a movie or an anime series, we always have to interpret what we think this means for them. What's gonna happen now that we see their journey end, we have to interpret what we think is gonna happen to them. Given this ending, our only indication is that they're just gonna die. They're just gonna accept death. And for us, that makes it seem like everything that they went through was basically for nothing. But remember, that is just our opinion. We know specifically based from the manga, which I did see a little of the manga's ending, the manga answers a lot of questions and it makes it seem like, yeah, they accomplished something good happened from this. But based off of the movie, the only assumption that me and Nia can really come up with is that they're just dying. So that's basically it.
So that's our thoughts on the King of Thorn movie. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Did you like the movie or did you hate the movie? Also, if you want to stay in touch with us regarding updates or other things that are in the work, follow us on Twitter. The link for that is in the description below. And also, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to catch our future videos. Sayonara!